good morning and welcome to Monday Coffee with Pastor Jordan. I am Pastor Jordan. I do not have coffee in my hands right now because I am recording this Sunday morning after our worship service went live on Facebook and everywhere else. And let me tell you, the sanctuary, it is cold in here. I think it's cold because we're missing everybody's warmth. All of you people out there that we haven't been able to meet in person. It doesn't feel the same as it usually does, but we are happy that we're still staying connected in these ways, and I cannot wait till I see you all again in person. Now, we probably won't be able to give hugs at that time, more like 6 feet apart high fives, but that's kind of where we're at. That's kind of where I'm at, and I've been doing a lot of thinking the last week, and of course we can't ignore a lot of the stuff going on. So the longer this quarantine or stay at home goes along, the more people start to get restless. And we've seen protests across the country this last week about ending the lockdowns. And I think one of the things that continues for me to be reminded about as a pastor, about faith, about anything, just human nature, we do not like the uncertainty, so we try to make our own certainty. I've talked with people, many people. Sometimes there are people that say this is overblown. Maybe true. Some people say COVID is a lie. I don't know about that. But we create those things for ourselves. We say it mostly for ourselves because we want the certainty. We want to know things that we want to know. We don't like that uncertainty. We don't like to sit there and say, I don't know very much about this. I'm going to trust experts that know more about it. We all think we're our own experts. And it just reminds me about the disciples after Jesus had left them and left them to start the church. There was so much uncertainty. There was so many questions about what to do, who's okay to be in, who should be out. And while they were discussing that, I think they lost the message of it's not about who's in, who's out, but it's about how God opened it up for all. But that feels a little uncertain, doesn't it? Because now everybody can be a part of it. And if there's a feeling of loss of control, and that's what the disciples were dealing with when they were asking the questions about should Gentiles be allowed into Christianity because they weren't allowed into the Jewish tradition. Are Jews allowed into this? Is this only a new thing for Jews, or is it for everyone? That was a lot of uncertainty, because now all of a sudden those boundaries you think were there to control everything and give you a sense of power and certainty are now gone. And we've been struggling with this ever since the church started, for thousands of years. And here we are in the middle of a pandemic, struggling with it again. What do we do? Do we reopen? Do we not reopen? Is this all made up? Is this a political move? And we try to make certainty for ourselves and only ourselves instead of trying to listen to others, trying to listen to medical professionals and scientists, try to listen to politicians who are trying to do the best for their communities, trying to listen to people who are on the front lines, the doctors and nurses. Try to listen to the most vulnerable, those who would be in deep pain and sickness if they contracted this disease, this virus. So in some ways, this pandemic can be a way to practice listening to one another. Practice being in that uncertainty, but listening and growing together rather than thinking only I am right because this is certainty for only me. Now this pandemic is showing us we cannot ignore the fact that we belong to each other, that we are a community, that we do things, everything we do affects one another. So my hope and inspiration for this week is that this pandemic, this social distancing is going to teach us how to better listen to one another. Because now we know for sure we are all connected, and everything we does affects the others. And may we drop the sin of certainty. May we drop the sin of wanting to be right, the sin of thinking that I hold all the knowledge, I'm the only one that knows, and avoiding and not listening to new facts and information as they come in. So go this week. May you be inspired by living in this uncertainty, but actually growing closer together and being able to listen to each other in a brand new way we never did before. Have a great week.